I have done a few of these. Hey, everybody, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I'm joined today by Jonathan, and I hope I pronounced it right. Phoinex, is that it's spelled funny,
That's
but
absolutely right.
Jonathan
Jonathan
Phoinex
Phoinex.
from South Carolina. He is the Carolina Storyteller. And Jonathan, I can't tell you how happy I am to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and it's a pleasure to be on your podcast. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad because you're very interesting. I wrote down so much stuff. You have 31 episodes up of your podcast. You have a YouTube channel. You're an author of a book called what's it called? Through the Flames and Redcoats.
Yeah, 2 books, Through the Flames and Redcoats.
Okay.
Yes, very different books too.
All right. Well, I watched the Redcoats video you have on YouTube, and that's an amazing story.
Yes, it's before anybody gets freaked out about Georgetown. That is entirely fiction. Redcoats is fiction, but it is based on some legends from around the town.
Okay. Go ahead. No, because you run the gamut for people. Again, I'm going to put all Jonathan's links to his YouTube and to his webpage and everything. But I mean, you'd go from Bigfoot to Goku.
Yeah. So let me tell you a story is basically where I tell you a story. And when I bring my guests on, what I like to do is I like to pick a story that fits them. And not everybody is not everybody's a ghost story. Not everybody's a paranormal story. And the thing is the thing about storytelling is that there are so many stories out there. Storytelling used to be our history. It's how we passed on tradition. It's how we passed on history. It's how we passed on everything that we needed to pass on to future generations. This is from ancient Greece, Native Americans, Rome. All of these things started with mouth-to-mouth storytelling. It started with somebody going, hey, let me tell you about this. And people say I'm a really good storyteller. So
you are a very good storyteller.
So this month is the first month that I've been doing YouTube videos. The entire first season of the podcast is all audio. I'm trying to get it converted over to videos, but starting 2024, I decided we were going to do video recordings. And so, I started this year with Bigfoot, with my friend Applesauce. They are a sentient bowl of applesauce for all that everybody needs to know.
Wait. Go back.
Yes.
Go back. I heard applesauce, but the rest was just a blur. You go fast, man. Slow down.
I apologize. So applesauce and I have been friends for a very long time, and
is his first name Apple and his last name Sauce?
Their name is Applesauce. They are a sentient bowl of applesauce. They're a talking bowl of applesauce. That's who they are. That's who we represent them as. Yes.
Wait a second. Hold on. It's a talking bowl of applesauce.
Yes. We met on TikTok. We became friends. We did some collaborations together.
Okay. All right. Now I'm following you.
And I was they were a big supporter of the podcast. They were actually one of my first fans.
Is it
they
pardon my ignorance, is it like an animated thing with talking?
No, it's just a picture. It's just a picture of applesauce. We just put up a picture of applesauce for him.
Okay.
You know, applesauce is a little camera shy, so we put up a picture of applesauce for him for the camera, and I told him, I wanted to try and have
the rails. This thing's going off the rails. Let's talk about Bigfoot. I gotta get away from. Hey, we're moving it to more normalcy, kids. We're going to talk about Bigfoot now.
Yeah, so that was the episode that we did with applesauce.
By the way, I hope you're laughing.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay, because I can't tell if you're laughing or not.
Applesauce is my comedy. Applesauce is my comedy bit, and they'll be reappearing. That's the thing, is they're my part-time co-host. They wanted to come on, but they didn't want to be seen.
Okay.
Yes. So we introduced them as Talking Applesauce. And that nickname they got just because of a joke. It's in between us 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And that's just been their nickname ever since. So when they came on to the show, they were Applesauce. And for them, I let off.
Let me just try and clear this up. Are they real people?
They are a real person. They're not really Applesauce. We just introduced them on the show as Applesauce.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Okay. They're camera shy. So instead of saying, hey, you know,
but they do,
this is so and so.
They're camera shy, but they do TikTok videos.
They used to. They don't anymore.
Okay. All right.
They had a bad experience. And for that reason, they don't mind being on audio, but they don't want to be on video.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm loving this, by the way, Jonathan. You are just serving me up some great stuff.
There are people out there that
just a drop of alcohol and I'm laughing like crazy.
There are people out there that just can be so cruel and mean to some people on these social media apps. And so, you know, this person didn't want that kind of stuff anymore.
Do you want me to share what someone wrote this week to me? True.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
True. I can't make it up this good. I did one of my jokes. I put it in Reddit. And I got up in the morning with one bloodshot eye. And it said, find a tree and get some rope.
Find a tree and get some rope. Wow, they are a real fan right there. That's that kind of devotion. That kind of devotion you just can't get these days.
Find a tree and get some rope. Yeah,
you know, I've been told.
I get the bad experience. I do. I get it. I know a lot of people that have tried to do YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever and had bad experience.
Yeah, and you know, when that happens, they just don't want to come back, and I don't blame them. You know, there are a lot of hateful people. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it, and then sometimes you just gotta say, no, I can't do this anymore. And that was the decision they made, but they like doing the show, and I like having them on the show.
Good. Well, we can move on, and I didn't mean please don't think I'm making fun. I just you threw me with the whole applesauce thing. I'll have to watch it.
The whole thing is supposed to be a gag. It's a gag, but at the same time, it's a way to get them on the show without having to put them on video.
Well, you mentioned paranormal, and what I really like about your homepage is you have things broken down as far as paranormal and different types, because like you said, you have 31 different episodes up, and you know they're broken apart by different types. Like you say, you're a storyteller, and it's different types of stories, whether it be paranormal, Bigfoot, or whatever. Do you have a favorite you've done, Jonathan?
I do. I have a couple of favorites that I've done. My very first story is on a woman named Lavanya Fisher. She is in Charleston known as America's first female serial killer. Legend of Lavanya Fisher goes that in the 1800s, she ran an inn just outside of Charleston. People would come to the inn, and she would poison and kill them, take their money. Now, she was accompanied by her husband and whatnot. She was captured. And where the legend gets really spooky is that when she was executed, her last words before dying were, "If you have any messages for the devil, give them to me directly, for I'm about to see him." And then she proceeded to step off of the gallows and hang herself.
Are you telling me this is true?
This is the true part of the story. Well, actually, the true part is nobody actually knows if she killed anybody. She was actually arrested and charged for highway robbery.
Can we pump the brakes for 1 second? Because something just went into my little cabeza. I don't have a lot of stuff firing up there anymore. But I worked with a man from Texas, and he used to say, this is true, Jonathan. He used to say, "Hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story."
So that is the essence of storytelling, is you can't get the truth get in the way of a good story. And Lavanya Fisher's story has grown to this massive legend. And so when you listen to the truth, it's kind of a letdown a little bit, but at the same time, it's kind
Okay.
of just as weird because when she did when she did die, she was hung to death, but she did say those last words, and she did
Okay.
step off the gallows herself before the executioner could pull the lever.
Well, I noticed that a lot of, at least, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them are in South Carolina, based in that area.
That my first several, yes, because that's
Okay.
where I grew up. So that
All right.
was it was what was in my wheelhouse. So I was just throwing it out, and I still fall back to the South Carolina wheelhouse because there's so many that I grew up with.
Yeah. I
But
actually,
as
I actually spent, my brother lived in Myrtle Beach. I spent a little time in South Carolina.
oh yeah, well you've probably heard of things like the Gray Man and
Yeah.
Alice
Yeah.
Flagg. You know, those
Well,
are all up from Myrtle Beach
I
area.
I've actually done a few minutes about North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina has got that's just yeah, North
I,
Carolina.
I, let's just say, I'll give you the short version, and I hope you're laughing because I'm trying to make you laugh a little bit. It is
Oh no,
after all
definitely laughing.
your comedy minute. I never
Yes.
heard the word fixin', so I got to North Carolina. Hey, buddy, ain't nobody fixing to do nothing quick around here, okay?
Yeah,
And my favorite, Jonathan, hold on to your helmet. They would say, "Where you from, boy?" I'd say, "Oh, I'm from York, Pennsylvania." "Well, you's a goddamn Yankee." That's
yeah.
that's right-handed God stuff.
And now understand the difference between South Carolina and North Carolina is the goddamn on that. North Carolina, you're a goddamn Yankee, and South Carolina, it's like, oh, you a Yankee? That's okay. We'll accept a Yankee every once in a while. So
Do
North
you want me,
Carolina,
do
it's a
you,
goddamn Yankee. No,
do you want me to finish the story real quick?
no, please go ahead.
Uh, I, I worked for RCA Records, and I would go to North Carolina. I'd go to these places. "Where are you from, boy?" "I'm from York, Pennsylvania." "Well, you's a Yankee." "Well, you's a Yankee." And I got tired of hearing this, Jonathan. I got tired of it. And one day, and it was true, I was living in Ellicott City, Maryland. So they said, "Where are you from, boy?" I said, "Ellicott City, Maryland." "No Yankee." I, he didn't say I was below the Mason-Dixon line. I got a lesson
Believe
that
it or
day.
not,
So from
Southerners
that
know where
point,
that line is.
from that point forward, Jonathan, where are you from? "Boy, Ellicott City, Maryland."
Like
Yeah,
that line is known.
yeah. There's a big difference between York, Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia, where I spent some time, and North Carolina or South Carolina.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a culture shock if you're not ready for it to come down here. We're
Well,
not
it's
exactly
steep in
advanced.
tradition. It's steep in tradition, which is what I love about your stuff.
Yes. I am trying to keep some of the traditions alive, and that's one of the things I like about storytelling. Um, I heard these stories as a kid,
Right.
and so when I started doing it originally, it was to tell my kids and tell kids that tell my nieces and nephews and my kids' friends these stories that I grew up with that nobody else was. You know, the gift was starting to get lost, so I started sharing it with them and passing
Right.
it on. And then I started sharing it with everybody. And then I ended up on TikTok, and every Halloween I would do it on TikTok. I'd do like 12 videos where I was like, okay, here's this ghost story, here's that ghost story.
Do you
And
mind
then
me
someone
asking,
finally said,
Jonathan? Do you mind me asking, when you say on TikTok, real good, just so the people, what kind of numbers are you talking about on like those 12 videos? Or is it millions, or how many? What's your biggest? If you don't mind me asking.
um, only a few thousand, only a few thousand.
Okay,
I
a few
think
thousand.
my biggest one was 4 or 5 thousand.
Okay,
And I don't think it was one of the ghost stories. I honestly, it was one of the stitches like the one that you like with the cop
I
and the
love that one.
donuts.
I love that one.
Yeah. I think my biggest video is actually where it's one of those. If we walk into your house and start doing this, what are you going to do? And then it flips to me standing there and saying, "Yeah, so I after I got done, I took the bodies and dumped them into the swamp back there. But hey, they got some nice chains and I got some wallets for sale. You want any?"
That's wonderful. That's
You
wonderful.
know,
Yeah.
if we broke into your house, what you gonna do? Well,
So it's
funny you should ask that, Kevin.
so it's kind of because you're not the first person. I did another one with Scott from Florida. What was that like or something? I think it's called. And he also has a TikTok, which is separate, and he does separate things that have really, in other words, the podcast and that are different.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
I'm just a one trick pony.
Well, the TikTok, I got onto it during the pandemic. I'm one of those Gen Xers that got on TikTok and made TikTok better. Um. And you know,
I didn't
um.
know that that can happen.
Yeah. If you ask the professor, Professor Nick, that's his saying is that we got on this app and during the pandemic and made it so much better. That's what Gen X did, and that's what I did during the pandemic, and
Okay.
that's probably what inspired me to eventually start my own podcast. Was that I got on there and I've got 10,000 followers. I get 400 to 1,000 views per video, even on my worst videos. And I'm like, well, it can't hurt to start a podcast. It can't hurt to. Um, I was
Hold on a
originally.
second, Jonathan, because part of this is to help you and promote. You have 10,000 followers, and you get about 4 or 5,000
4 or
views,
500
or four or five
usually
hundred.
yeah, that's the average. Some don't get that many. TikTok's a
And
mixed
is
bag.
this, hang on, because I noticed it in, again, I'm just trying to help out here, but it's pretty much all on your Carolina Storyteller page. In other words, is it on Spotify or is it on other podcasts or
So TikTok is literally its own thing. I haven't moved anything over really to TikTok.
okay, right? No, I'm
um
talking about the 10,000.
that's TikTok.
Oh, that's
That's
TikTok.
only
Okay,
TikTok.
all right.
My podcast doesn't have numbers like that yet. But
Okay.
my podcast is relatively new still. I'm just
Well,
getting into my
and
second
just
year.
just to clarify, then, are you on Spotify? Or you, because I don't know if you know this, I've told someone the last one of these I did. Google's not going to have podcasts anymore.
I didn't know that, but no, I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcast. I
Okay.
actually started on Spotify.
Okay. Well, if you can, send me those links and maybe put them on your YouTube page or something, because I think that will help you.
I think I've got some of them on my YouTube page, but I'll double check
Okay.
and make
Yeah,
sure.
on the front, I'm just throwing it out there to try and help.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
on
still
mine,
working on it.
I do Instagram. I don't do TikTok. I'll never do TikTok. But Instagram, Facebook, X, I have all my links right there, and I have my merchandise because you think you sell merchandise too, right?
I've got some merch. I'm working on
Okay.
some other things that I haven't really I'm not the best designer. So I have to kind of work it
My
out.
buddy did all my stuff.
Yeah. But I've got a couple of t-shirts and I've got a teddy bear that has the lizard man on it. Um
Okay.
and a coffee mug, I think right now.
Yeah.
Nothing really spectacular. And then of course my books.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's talk about those for a second because we kind of brushed on it. You say you have two books. I just have
Yes.
the one title. What is it? Through the Flames in Redcoats.
So that's actually the two titles. Through the Flames is the first
Oh,
book.
Through the
Red
Flames
Coats is
in
the second book.
Redcoats. Okay,
Yes.
Redcoats I've seen. Through the Flames, is that a different story? Can you tell me that story?
So Through the Flames is about a fire department that is faced with dealing with an arsonist that is plaguing their community and threatening the lives of firefighters and their friends and their families. And they have to put the pieces together and help catch this arsonist before it's too late. And it was my first foray into writing. It was what I knew because I was a firefighter for several years.
Okay,
So
that was
a
going to be
lot of
my next
people
question.
who read that book were like, wow, the action just feels so real. It's like you've been there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have been. I basically wrote it off of things that I experienced or things that I'd seen
Right, right,
or done. I pulled this from uh things. Pulled it from what I knew.
right.
And so it didn't receive uh the reception that I thought it deserved from the publisher that I went with.
Okay.
So I've recently ended my relationship with the publisher, and it's going to be coming back out. And it actually has a sequel that's
Yeah.
going to be done very soon. And it'll be
Great.
Through the Flames series, The Arsonist, and The Academy will be the
Yeah.
two books. Um, and The Academy will follow one of the children of the main characters from the first book, becoming a third generation firefighter and going through the training uh, to join the same department that his father and grandfather have been in.
Wow. You're an amazing guy.
Thank you.
You're an
I'm trying.
amazing guy. You have, I just, I'm so taken back by, uh, great job with everything you got going with, from the TikTok 10,000 subscribers or, followers. And, now, and you've all done, you just started this about a year ago, the podcast, right?
Yeah. I launched, let me tell you a story in May of last year after I'd gotten
Yeah.
a few episodes recorded. And
Right.
I really didn't know what I was doing. I
Yeah.
was
Right.
just kind of winging it. And I decided that I'd end the season in October. I did a few bonus episodes for the holidays,
Right.
and started a new season this year
Yeah.
on YouTube with
Good. Good.
videos, and it's on the Patreon.
Okay.
So
Well,
kind of new.
congratulations, man. I'm proud of you. I mean, I just met you, but first and foremost, again, we just met Sunday, just a couple days ago, and I
Yeah,
didn't really get a lot of time to spend, but I've been doing it 4 years. I got fired from my job at Lowe's for telling jokes, and I decided to start. Everyone always said I was so funny and this and that, and I started it, and it is a process, where I thought I was funny, and yet today I still question, am I funny? And
oh no, you're funny.
it's well, I appreciate it. It's a learning process, timing, this and that, and I'm glad you touched on that. But I got a little sidetracked. But the reason I have such admiration for someone like you or anyone that does this, it takes a certain amount of balls to look into the camera and put yourself out there, and I have nothing but the utmost respect, because I know a lot of people over the course of 4 years that have said, "Oh, Scotty, I'd love to do it," and when it comes down to doing it, I don't know. I just had a girl here the other day that was talking about it, but she doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, being in
You
front of the camera is the hardest part because you
sure,
literally are putting yourself out there.
sure,
And I threw when I started the TikToks, I have to admit there was some worry there because I'm throwing my face up on this thing where people are seeing
yep,
millions of views and everybody's going to see my face, see me making a
yep,
fool of myself, and I'm like, well, if they meet me in real life, I'm going to make a fool of myself anyhow.
yeah,
So
yeah. You have to throw
you know,
caution to the wind.
yeah.
I'm doing my 102nd live show on this Thursday. And I told the young lady was over the other night, and I was telling her, well, I have a bottle bottle of whiskey up there, and I usually have a couple shots. In other words, this is water now. On Thursday night, it won't be water. I got
So
to
so
get a
your
little
advice
bottle.
is
I
when
got to
I
get a little bottle of courage to go live.
so
And even
your
then,
advice is when I go live, whiskey.
I have a whole script that I go line by line and joke. And in other words, I have stuff already that I'm working on for Thursday night.
So that's your advice to me. Whiskey, a particular brand of whiskey.
Well, and smoke a little pot beforehand. Get yourself good and numb.
I
If you
can't do
smoke
that in
pot,
South
smoke a little
Carolina
pot.
yet.
Maybe some mushrooms. Whatever,
We
whatever, whatever.
It's illegal in South Carolina
I'm
still.
sorry. I'm sorry. Which is illegal, mushrooms or weed?
Both. We're in the South. I don't have any freedoms.
Ixnay there. He's not. It's me.
I don't have any freedoms down here.
we we play both kinds of music, country and western.
There's actually a bar down here that says that.
I believe, like I said, I've been there. I know. Well, let's finish up to make sure everyone give people like, do you have your next podcast or your next episode? You already have that in the can?
I don't actually have the next one completely finished editing yet, but the next one is going to be a recap of season one.
Okay,
I'm just going to do a quick rundown of season one, and
good.
literally it
Good.
starts off with, "Hey, I know I was supposed to do this like at the beginning of this season, but
Right.
I'm doing it at the beginning of February." And then I
Good.
actually have the next two episodes after that. They're finished editing,
Okay.
and they're going to be great. They are dealing with some famous cases
Okay.
that of the paranormal, so
Good.
that'll be
Good.
fun.
Yeah, I know that's your niche or whatever you say it. That's your.
It's what I fell into, and I just, I'm good at it.
Yeah. Good. Good. Well, again, I just want to make sure we cover everything because eventually, I told you it's called Your Comedy Minute, and I want you to, again, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Just tell me something funny, make it up. I don't care. But I want to be sure before we get to Your Comedy Minute, I want to make sure everyone knows. Let's just go back over it. Jonathan Phoinex, the Carolina Storyteller. Let me tell you a story. He's on YouTube now. He's got 13 subscribers, 21 videos, 6,172 views already, which is amazing. And Jonathan, anything else that you want to add before we get to Your Comedy Minute?
Yeah, if you're looking for me, you can find me on YouTube as the Carolina Storyteller. There's
Okay, yeah,
also
I'm going to put the links. I'm going to put all the
thecarolinastoryteller.com.
links on this when it airs.
Okay.
Everything
And
will be in the
I've got
description.
I've got the Patreon too, so I would love to get some
Okay.
more members for that because we have exclusive stuff on the Patreon.
Okay.
Exclusive episodes. Sometimes I get a little bit personal. I tell stories from
Okay.
my personal there. But yeah, I've actually got a comedy minute for you.
Oh, well, wonderful.
Mhm.
I
I
love it.
picked I picked one out. This one's stolen, and a lot of people might realize where it's stolen from, but it is one of my favorite jokes. But there are two
Well,
guys
no.
escaping.
Hang on. Before you do that, it doesn't have to be a joke. You can do, in other words, a girl was telling me the other day how she walked, guys were telling her to stop, and she walked into a mud puddle. So it doesn't have to be a joke, but if you want to do a joke, I'm all about it.
Oh, I wanted to do this joke. This joke's
Okay,
one of my favorite
good.
jokes.
Okay, it's Your
Yeah, yeah.
Comedy Minute with
Definitely want to do this
Jonathan.
one. Okay, so there's these two guys. They're escaping from a insane asylum, right? And they climb up onto the roof, and they get up on the roof, and they can see laid out into the city the rooftops, kind of just spawning their way out to freedom. So the first guy, he runs as fast as he can. He's really fit, and he jumps and leaps and lands on the other side of the roof, on the next roof. He's now free. He's out, and he turns around and he looks at the other guy, and he's like, "Come on, come on!" And the other guy's, he's kind of my size, and he's like, "I can't make that. There's no way you can get across." So the first guy thinks for a minute, and he says, "You've got the flashlight. Throw it over to me. I'll shine the beam across, and you can walk across." And the second guy gets pissed. He goes, "What do you think I am, crazy? You're just going to turn it off when I get halfway."
Yeah, boy. That's it. We're gonna end on that. I fell off my dinosaur laughing at that thing. Come on, make something up. We got another 2 or 3 minutes. Go ahead, make something up for me.
Making something up.
Okay,
Making
sure.
something up. Sorry, but I got a good one.
Let's just take this morning. They're going to work or whatever, going out they're in South Carolina. Something happened. I know it.
Here in South Carolina, the thing that happens every morning is that we walk out, especially in January, and it's like 35 degrees and it's freezing cold. But if you used to weather in South Carolina,
oh my God,
all you got to do is like wait 10 minutes. And now it's like 80 degrees outside and people are in t-shirts and swimming. That's the weather in South Carolina. Like it flip-flops so horribly. Like
South Carolina, I can remember being at my brother's place in Myrtle Beach. And I don't think I've ever felt heat like that before in my life. Ever.
Oh, yeah. This humid heat will melt you in a second. We've got some sayings down here in the South. One is that if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes, it'll change.
Yeah, right.
And the other one is that if you think it's bad, if you think it's bad when it's hot out, wait till it's hot after it rains.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's
Because then
true.
it's 10 times
Oh
worse.
man, I'll never forget that. It's funny you'd say that because we were sitting on the porch outside and the kids were trying to throw football, but they quickly stopped. And like you said, it was after the rain. And I just remember, like I said, I don't think I've ever felt heat like that in my life.
Yeah. A good August rainstorm in the middle of the day and it passes, and you'll be looking for air conditioning.
Yeah, and I don't think my brother had air conditioning.
Yeah, that's
I,
that's when you suffer.
if he did, I don't think it worked very well.
He had that 2x4 air conditioning, 2 windows by
Yeah,
4.
right,
You
right,
got to be
right.
going 65 to get it going.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I appreciate you being on the show. Sit tight for a minute because I want to talk to you after the show, if that's all right. Just hang tight
Sure,
for a
no
second.
problem.
Cool. I hope you had fun. Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. This was
Oh,
awesome.
no, listen, it was my pleasure. And if it's okay with you, we'll check in. We'll do another one of these. We'll see how you're doing anytime you got something coming out.
Sure, that'd be
Again,
great.
I'm all about, I've learned a lot in 4 years, and I kind of feel like for people starting out, I want to try and help because I don't want to do a broken record thing here, but I was monetized by Google at one point, and then they did a little Jesse James, a little man behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz thing, and now I'm not monetized. And I've quickly learned Google doesn't care about you.
They
Yeah,
don't.
they don't. They don't. You put a video up and you don't promote it, you don't do anything, you're going to end up with 4 views. And 3 of those are your buddies. But
Yeah.
sit tight for a second, Jonathan. Thanks for being here. I'm going to stop the recording, but I want to chat with you some more.
Okay, sounds great.
Hey, thanks again for being here.